much more quicker, and it will be much more faster and much more accurate. So one of the things that I will do over here is definitely kind of uh, let's say what I will do is that I will kind of first of all isolate the system quickly. Even though let's say the malware is spread it out, I will start with isolating the systems so that there is no kind of data exfil from the system. So I will kind of disconnect the system from the network. And the other things what I would also do is that maybe I will uh, uh, let's say I'll quickly set up some alert. Uh, let's say in the Surikata alert or some kind of alert where in the IPS, where I will say that, okay, if there's any kind of communication to any of the IP address, and the signature is something like let's say like this. So this is a SMB vulnerability that the malware was exploiting, and it was trying to kind of move laterally. So if you see, like, this is a SMB packet where the malware is actually trying to kind of request access to the C drive of the other computer, and it is trying to execute this exe file on that host to kind of get a remote access, as well as execute certain software with system privilege. Okay, so those all things we can see that in the network packet. So what we can do is that maybe we can kind of so let's say the malware is trying to kind of create a request file, something like this. So what we do is that we immediately ask our network team to create a alert that you pushed out to the IPS, and it will actually detect this kind of activity in the packet. And what it will do is that it will not just detect, it will also block the thing. So what will happen is that immediately the malware will be not be allowed to kind of spread further, and it will kind of stop the attack, and it might possibly stop the attack from kind of spreading out to the thousands of systems in that network. Okay, so this will be my steps to kind of contain the incident. But again, like, thing is that we need to be really fast because it's a flat network and the impact will be really high. So I hope I answered your question. Do you need any further clarification on this part?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So that's all about the containment part. Sorry. So that's all about the containment part. Once we identified, we need to kind of contain the incident. We need to kind of isolate the system and whatnot. Okay. To protect any kind of further malicious spreading of the malware, or kind of let's say spreading of the data exfiltration to the outside server. Okay. So there was one incident that I can kind of say is that there was one recent incident where there was an Azure environment, and and that Azure instance was actually kind of, let's say, was having a role attached via a key, but via a secret key, which would allow that instance to actually read file from the database. Okay. And then what happened was that we got an alert. I recently got an alert, let's say a few weeks before, about the Azure environment. And it was telling that, okay, kind of like that instance is kind of making a known malicious domain query to a coin miner URL. Okay. So once we did the trials and once we did the assessment, we were knowing that this is a true positive case with at least 95% confidence. Okay, it's a true positive case. So what we did was that once we know that, what we did was that the team was actually based out of India. And I was that time in US. Okay, and that team was not accessible. Like, I can't ask those guys to kind of, let's say, go log into that Azure platform and kind of remove that role. Let's say remove the role from that system, or let's say turn off the system. So what I did was that I took the containment step immediately. I logged into there. I logged into the Azure portal as a team member of as a team member of India. Okay, and then what I did is that I removed the role from that instance that would allow that instance to kind of let's say talk to a database also. And also what I did is that using EDR tool like Carbon Black, I actually isolated that system immediately. Okay. So these all things are normally kind of actually done during the containment stage, where we need to kind of contain the incident, and we need to kind of contain the incident such that the malware doesn't spread to any other system. And the other thing is that the malware doesn't exfil any kind of data outside the C2 server. So this is all about the containment stage, what all things we do in the containment part. And now let's kind of quickly see the eradication stage, what the eradication stage is all about. So let me just quickly go to that. So guys, again, like if you have any questions anytime, feel free to kind of interrupt me. So now let's see the eradication stage. So let me just quickly go to my notes. All guys, what we do is that let's take a 2 to 3 minutes break, or at least a 5 minutes break, because thing is that I have been speaking from a long time, a little bit tired now. So what I will do is that I will quickly take a 5 minutes. Let's take a 5 minutes break, okay, and then I will resume with this discussion. I'll quickly grab some water and kind of relax a bit for 2 minutes, and then I will kind of start with this one. Okay. So I hope this is fine. So let's resume in 5 minutes our discussion. Okay. So give me 5 minutes. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to kind of think about that and ask me. Okay.